Hello! So I haven't done one of these in a while because, I don't know, I was just feeling kind of bored with doing like my monthly what I read videos. Now I have decided that I think I do want to do them again, and I also want to include my July TBRs in the same video because I think those are more fun when you get what they read the month before and what they're maybe going to read in the current month. So that's what we're gonna do. And I read 4 books this month. Nothing too crazy. I took it was a pretty relaxed month when it came to reading. I have 2 books that I started reading in May and they rolled over to this month and I finished them this month. And then I have 2 more that I read just in the month of June. Starting with the first book is The Reappearance of Rachel Price. I really enjoyed this one. I started reading it before we went on vacation to the United States and I got maybe like 75% of the way through it, and I kicked myself the whole time we were on vacation because I didn't bring this with me, and I was so mad that I didn't bring it because I really wanted to finish it the whole time. When we got back from vacation, I immediately picked it back up again and just started from where I left off, and it was really good. The premise of this is Belle, who is our female main character. She is 18 years old. She has grown up basically her whole entire life with a mom who was missing. When Belle was very little, I can't remember how old she was, Belle was found in her mom Rachel's car alone in the dead of winter, and Rachel was gone. So for, I think it was like 16 years or something, so Belle must have been 4. No, 2. It must have been 2. Her mom Rachel has been gone, presumed dead, all of those missing person things. Eventually the case is kind of brought up again when the Price family agrees to film a true crime documentary. Belle goes to film something for the documentary and ends up getting angry, and Belle kind of has like an anger problem, I would say. She's very angry with the world and some of the people in her life, and she's very spiteful. She's mean. She's mean to a lot of people in her life. But anyway, she is filming for the documentary and she gets mad about something and storms out and starts to walk home. And it's while she's walking home that she sees Rachel Price walking along the street. Belle runs home. Doesn't say anything to her, just runs home. And then Rachel Price comes knocking on the door saying that she's back and she was kidnapped and her kidnapper released her. That's all I will say about it. Although I did sort of halfway see the end coming and knew what was going to happen or guessed what was going to happen in the end, it was still really enjoyable to read and it was still making me like shocked. I don't know, just something about Holly Jackson and her books. They get me every time. They're always very good, very entertaining. Holly Jackson does such a good job of writing these like kind of eerie, suspenseful atmospheres that they kind of just leaves you with this on the edge of your seat feeling the whole time you're reading it, where you're constantly trying to think, oh, what does that mean? And how does that relate to what is going on in this book and what is happening? Overall, good vibes, good mystery vibes, good YA mystery vibes. And I ended up giving this one 4 stars. The next book I read was Reckless by Elsie Silver. I Eat these up. This was Winter and Theo's story, and it starts off with Winter. Winter is in sort of a toxic marriage situation. The book begins with her in a fight with her husband, and then she leaves and goes to Chestnut Springs to stay with her sister. It is there that she meets Theo Silva at a family dinner. They go back to the hotel that both of them are staying at in town, and you know, things get spicy from there. They write down on a little napkin or whatever, like their contract of, this is a one-time thing, we won't contact each other after this is over. Winter ends up pregnant and she contacts Theo. She texts him or something saying that she is pregnant with his kid or whatever, and Theo answers something mean. Winter says, fine. That night in the hotel, a condom must have broken. I'm pregnant. The baby is yours. Thought that might interest you. And Theo says, thanks for letting me know. And then after that, the book picks up to 18 months later when Winter is single mom. She has divorced her husband and she is living and working in Chestnut Springs with her daughter. When it comes to romance and reading a romance novel, sometimes they can be so corny and cheesy. And like, okay, don't get me wrong, these are corny and cheesy, but it's in a different way. It's in a cozy way. I don't know. I just really like them. However, this one out of the series was not my favorite, so I am giving this one a 3.5. I have now officially read all of the books in the Chestnut Springs series. I can confidently say that Heartless is my favorite one. I'm excited to read what else Elsie Silver has to offer. She has a whole series that she wrote before this one that is now being traditionally published. They're already out. I'm pretty sure you can already read all of them on Kindle Unlimited, but their traditionally published covers are coming out now. The first one is already out. I think it's called Off to the Races. And so I'm excited to read those next. I can't get enough of her writing, and I want to know. I want to know what the other series are like. The next book I read was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars as well because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time reading it. It took me forever to finish, but not in like an annoying, I don't like this book, it's taking me forever to finish it. It was just taking me a long time for some reason. I don't know why. The girlies like to say that this is like the Hunger Games, and I was excited going into it because I like the Hunger Games. I like those books, and I was excited to have that same vibe. And I will tell you, this has the same vibe. This has the same plot as the Hunger Games, which I thought was borderline illegal. It feels so similar. The only difference really is the romantasy aspect of it, and that the characters in the book have powers and magical abilities. That is really the only difference. It is still the, you know, struggle between the elites, the rich people in this society, and the poor people in this society. The rich having others compete for their entertainment and kill each other for their entertainment, and that being a tradition in their society and so wildly accepted. It was even the same down to the contestants would dress up in these beautiful gowns to kind of show off for the citizens, and the citizens would then vote for who they like the best, and they would help them in these competitions if they liked a certain contestant, which is so the same as the Hunger Games. This follows Peyton. Peyton is a poor citizen in this society. She lives in this place called Loot, which is where basically all the poor people live. She is an ordinary, so an ordinary doesn't have any magical ability at all. However, this society is based solely on the fact that you have power. So If someone is born and they don't have power, they are immediately exiled or killed because they are thought to infect the other elite magical beings with their ordinariness, bringing down the society, is what they say. Our other main character is Kai, and Kai is the prince of the king. Eventually, Kai gets into a fight with some of the people in Loot, and Payton sees this happening, and Payton saves his life. And the people of Loot vote that Payton will compete in the trials to represent them. And I thought that I knew where this book was going. I thought I knew where this book was going, but I was wrong. It took a completely different turn, but I'm happy about it. I am happy it took this turn, because if it did not, if it went the way that I thought that it was going to go, this would have been a way lower rated book, because the ending threw me through such a loop that I gave it like 1.5 more stars. I was thinking that I was not going to continue this series or finish this series out, but because the ending left me with such a cliffhanger and so much shock, I have to pick up the next one. I have to. And the last book I read this month, I finished literally last night. It is June 30th. And it is Animal Farm by George Orwell. I thought this was good. I thought it was kind of weird, but a good weird. It is so short. It is 95 pages long, like teeny tiny. But I'm glad that I finally got to it and I finally read it, because I had had it on my radar for a long time. And it's an easy classic. You know, you have this sort of bias when it comes to, or I do at least, have this sort of bias when it comes to classics, that I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so hard to understand and so hard to get through and boring, but it was not. It did not feel like that at all. So basically, there is a farm where the animals are not liking the way that they are treated. The animals are, what is it? What is it called when you give animals, when you give objects human qualities? Anthropomorphism? Anthropomorphism. So the animals in this book are anthropomorphic, I guess? I don't fucking know. The animals talk, basically. They have minds and feelings and emotions, and they do not like the way that they have been treated on this farm. They end up throwing the farmer off of the farm and claiming it as their own. Because it is so short, that is all I am really able to say about it, but it is really good. The main themes of this book are like corruption of power, corruption in general, propaganda, stuff like that. I ended up giving this 4 stars, maybe even 4.5 stars, mostly because it was just good. I thought it was clever, I thought it was weird, I thought it was funny. So I think I'm gonna go 4.5. I think I'm gonna go 4.5 on this one, because I did really enjoy it. Okay, so for July's TBR, I have a couple of books that I know are going to be on it, which is the book I'm currently reading now. I just started it today. It is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. This is her memoir about growing up with her mom, basically, and the way that her mom treated her and all of those things. And I'm excited about it because the first memoir I read was Britney Spears, and I really enjoyed that one. So I'm excited to get into another one. And I grew up watching iCarly and Sam and Cat and seeing Jeanette McCurdy on these shows. So it's going to be really interesting to see what she has to say about all of that. The next book I know I'm going to be reading is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, and I am choosing to read this month because, one, I have had this book for way too long without reading it. I think it is Katie and her, they're like best friends. I can't remember her name right now. But they have a book club called Wyvern and Words and Wyvern and Words. They are ending the book club. And before they end the book club, they are reading the Mistborn trilogy. So I thought this was as good a time of any to pick this up and read it with them. I'm excited. Felt like the perfect excuse to finally pick this up, and I'm ready to read it. I'm ready to get through it. It is, my version at least, is a chunker, but the text is very big. It is large text, but everyone raves about Brandon Sanderson and loves his books, so I cannot wait to get into it. For the rest of my TBR, I think I'm gonna pick 5 more books to read, but I'm not gonna pick them. I'm gonna have a random number generator pick the books that I'm going to read, because I'm in this vibe where I could read anything. I'm open to wherever the random number generator takes me. I counted all of my books. They're all right below me. I'll show you when I pick them. I have 65 total unread books. Book number 1. 45. Okie dokie. Okay, here's what we're working with. There are some books behind those and some books behind those. And I think we're gonna be somewhere in this area, which is honestly kind of scary. 43, 44, 45. Oh God. Book number 45 is In the Darkness by Karen Folsom. This is a Norwegian author. This is a crime novel of some sort. It says, Eva is walking by the river with her 7-year-old daughter when they catch sight of a man's body in the water. Eva tells her daughter to wait while she calls the police, but when she reaches the phone box, she doesn't call them. Instead, she phones her father and makes no mention of her discovery. When the body is eventually found, it soon becomes clear to Inspector Sayre and his team that this was no accidental drowning. The man was the victim of a very violent killer, but the trail has gone cold until one night Ava receives a phone call. It sounds interesting enough. I just haven't been super excited to pick this one up. It hasn't really been, you know, on my radar of books that I want to read right now, but I guess it will be on my TBR and I can pick it up if I want to. All right, the next book is 14, okay. 12, 13, 14. Nice. We got One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I have been wanting to get to this one, so this is a really good excuse to maybe pick it up. This is about Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets. But nothing comes for free, especially magic. It's almost like a disease, like a dark magic that is infesting this town. Pretty sure that Elspeth has this disease, but she is also on a journey to cure it. Gothic, fantasy type vibes. So I'm excited to finally get to it. Okay. So that is 2. Now we need number 3. 23, okay. 21, 22, 23. 23 was A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. Am I mad about it? No. I actually have a video idea that I want to start this month that involves this book. So it might be a good idea to start that video, I guess. Doesn't have a description on the back, but I'm pretty sure it is sci-fi. But that's really all I know about it, so not mad about this one. All right, number 4. 35, okay. 32, 33, 34, 35. Okay, so number 35 is The Girls Are All So Nice Here by Laurie Elizabeth Flim. This is a thriller. You know, I'm not opposed to reading this. It's kind of like In the Darkness. It's been on my TBR for a while and it hasn't been on my radar at all. I really haven't heard great things about it. so that's why I haven't been so eager to pick it up, but I mean, I guess we'll give it a shot. It is about Ambrosia, Amb Wellington. Graduated from college and she's worked hard to create a new life for herself, but then an invitation to her 10-year reunion arrives in the mail, along with an anonymous note that reads, "We need to talk about what we did that night." It seems that the secrets of Ambrosia's past and the people she thought she'd left there aren't as buried as she believed. It sounds intriguing enough, so I guess we'll see. All right, next we have 12.
10, 11, 12.
Number 12 is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I'm not mad about this either. I have the whole series, however, I have not read it yet. This is very much beloved in the book world community. I also have a video idea involving this book. Maybe it'll be the month to start that video as well. I'm pretty sure this has to do with Jude, is the main character. She is not a fairy, but she is brought to the fairy world where she's kind of bullied for being a mortal. It says that Jude soon realizes that to survive in the treacherous, dangerous world of the royal court, she needs to be as cunning and deceitful as the Fae themselves. That is the July TBR. And plus, I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy, which is in the living room, and I'm not willing to go get it. So I am, I guess, excited about it. I don't know. I feel very indifferent to it. So we'll see how that goes, or if I end up reading any of this at all. Bye.